Thank you all for being here today. We'll turn this just a little bit. It is truly a wonderful sight to see this room filled with people who care so deeply about the future of downtown Natchez. Before we begin, I want to take a moment and recognize those who helped make today possible. Thank you to the 2026 sponsors, including the Bank of Franklin, the Community Foundation for Mississippi, Bergeron and Cloche, Concordia Bank and Trust Company, Core Lending, Delta Bank, Levi and Grace Construction, and United Mississippi Bank. Thank you. We also want to extend our sincere thanks and kindness for our in-kind sponsors, including Edna Murray of Murray Land and Homes, Andrews Tavern, Go Mart, Morton's Flowerland, Natchez Coffee Company, Natchez Convention Center, Natchez Market, Walmart, and Westgate Funeral Home. Thank you. We could give them a round of applause. We also want to thank and acknowledge our exhibitors who are truly the backbone of today's event. Thank you for showing up, for sharing your expertise, and for helping to connect ideas and action in downtown Natchez. Thank you very much. Some of our exhibitors today include Bluff City Real Estate, Holston Classic Real Estate, EXC Realty, Murray Land and Homes, Paul Green Real Estate, Remax Elite Realty, Stedman Ulmer Realty, Tate and Company Real Estate. Our lenders include Bank of Franklin, Concordia Bank and Trust, Core Lending, Delta Bank, First Community Mortgage, Renaissance Community Loan Fund, and UMB. We're so thankful you're here. Resources for today include Bergeron and Cloche, the Chamber of Commerce, the City of Natchez Planning Department, Compass Business Resource, Downtown Natchez Alliance, the Historic Natchez Foundation, Levi and Grace Construction, and Natchez Inc. Thank you all for sharing your expertise, your time, and your knowledge with us here. We are here today because we all believe in something bigger than ourselves. We believe in the preservation, the progress, and the continued investment in one of the most remarkable downtowns anywhere in our country. Not just because of its beauty, though it is gorgeous, but because of its potential. And it's that potential that's being realized every single day through you, the people in this room, and through the leadership that understands the importance of supporting that progress. It is now my pleasure to introduce someone who has been a strong partner with that work. Alderwoman for Ward 3 and Mayor Pro Tem Sarah Carter Smith. Ms. Smith has been a consistent advocate for thoughtful growth, for collaboration, and for the kind of leadership that helps move projects into action. We are grateful for her support for downtown Natchez and for the role that she plays to help our community move forward. Please join me in welcoming Alderwoman and Mayor Pro Tem Sarah Carter Smith.
Good morning, everybody. So I guess it looks like a cry different from yesterday, the weather. So God is smiling on us with this beautiful sunshine today for this event. But on behalf of the city and Natchez, the City of Natchez, it's my honor to welcome you all to the Downtown Unlocked Real Estate Property Showcase hosted by Natchez Downtown Alliance. Today is about possibility. It's about opening doors, literally and figuratively, to our future downtown. Whether you're a business owner looking to expand or an investor seeking opportunity, a realtor connecting a vision to a dream, or just a resident who loves downtown, we welcome you here today and we're appreciative of your support. Downtown Natchez is more than a collection of buildings. It's our story, it's our economy, it's our history, and it's our future. And I was attending one of our municipal conferences one summer, and I think it was a representative from the Mississippi State Extension Service, but they were talking about using Natchez as an example of our downtown footprint being a challenge, because our downtown footprint is large. We have other cities like Oxford, Mississippi, that literally is just a square. Many other cities in the state of Mississippi are just a main street, but we have a large downtown footprint that's based on, our history with the cotton era. So we as a town, have to consider that and know we are seeing so much progress with buildings. When I first moved back home, which is now 18 or so years ago, that were empty are now filled, and we have a lot more people looking to invest in downtown Natchez. So the timing of this event for the last few years has been wonderful, and I'm so excited about it. Like any great story, ours is still being told, and the goal of this showcase is to help each of you better navigate downtown development, see what's available, understand what's possible, and connect with the people and the resources that can help you bring ideas to life. We're especially honored today to have Dr. Rachael Carter from the MSU Extension Center for Government and Community Development as our keynote speaker. Dr. Carter brings a wealth of knowledge and practical insight into how communities like ours can grow thoughtfully and sustainably, and her perspective will help us think strategically about development while preserving the character that makes Natchez so very special. In addition to today's program, we're excited to see 3 tours offered, so I think it's a tour that will work for each of you that are here today to see the tours. And that will encourage you to take, I encourage you to take full advantage of that opportunity, because sometimes seeing a space is what makes your vision come to life. You walk in a building and you go, okay, this is it. This is what I see happening here. And I've already talked to somebody this morning that loves this building too, so sees a vision for it. Events like this don't happen. They're the result of collaboration. I want to thank the Natchez Downtown Alliance for their leadership, commitment. We've got Carter Burns that's going to be helping today, and his Natchez Historic Foundation, as well as all the partners, property owners, and organizers who made today possible. As Mayor Pro Tem, I want you to know that the city is committed to supporting smart strategic development in our downtown. We want to make it easier to invest. We know that's not always the history of what people think about Natchez, but I think events like this, which give you information and knowledge, do make it easier to learn about investing in downtown Natchez and about the historic preservation of downtown Natchez. So I wanted to say that I encourage you to connect, ask questions, explore the properties. And we know that our economy and our identity, which I mentioned earlier, are so important. And I want to tell you just a quick little story. When I was first elected in 2013, the mayor at that time was out of town, and Bondrell bought Mississippi River Pulp out in the Florida area. And Mr. Bondrell, one of the brothers, the owners, and it's now Marcol, that it's been sold, but still very successful. But they came here to create about 100 jobs. And he told the story when I did that opening that day of what sold him truly on Natchez. Obviously the property was a good property, but he got lost. I think he must have come down the wrong side of Canal. He ended up downtown. Amy, shake your head, she knows the story. And he fell in love with downtown Natchez. So when people say, well, we need industry, we need this, we need that, should be our focus. No, downtown always needs to be our focus as well, because that's what people fall in love with when they come to Natchez, whether they're opening a winery on the north side of town, or moving a winery on the north side of town, whether it's an industry going to the port, whether it's soon to be EOLA development happening. That is happening. Everybody in this room, don't be a naysayer, be a positive thinker, because it's going to happen. So whether any of those situations make our downtown and its vitalness so important to the future of Natchez. So anyway, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Thank you all so much for being here. And I want to have the board members of DNA raise your hands. We need to thank all of these people. And Natchez has a lot of volunteers and a lot of boards, and this one is non-political, they're collaborative, they work together, and they put in a lot of hours in what they do, and we've seen the difference of what you all do in our downtown, so thank y'all so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Sarah Carter-Smith. We appreciate your leadership and definitely your continued support of downtown Natchez. Thank you so much. So next, we want to recognize someone who understands the value of downtown Natchez, not just in words, but through thoughtful investment and action. Jimmy Smith has made a clear and ongoing commitment to this community through his investment in downtown properties, helping bring businesses and buildings back to life, supporting local businesses, and contributing to that steady momentum that we're seeing across our historic district. He understands that downtown is more than a collection of buildings, that it's the economic and cultural heartbeat of our community. And when you invest in downtown, you're investing in the future of an entire city. That belief is reflected in the decisions that he continues to make and in the role that he plays in helping move downtown Natchez and all of Natchez forward. And while his investments extend beyond downtown, including projects like the Tracetown development, it is clear that he recognizes how strong downtown supports and strengthens the entire community. That kind of leadership matters. That kind of investment matters. It is my pleasure to present Jimmy Smith with the Spirit of Downtown Award. Jimmy, if you would please come forward. And for believing in its future. That kind of voice truly matters, and we're grateful to have you and your voice in our community. At this time, we would like to recognize a very special group of supporters. The Downtown Natchez Alliance Double Helix Society represents individuals and organizations that have made an intentional investment in the long-term development of downtown Natchez. These members are not just supporters, they're champions of preservation, of progress, and of possibility. Their investment helps to make the work of Downtown Natchez Alliance possible, from the programs like today to projects like ARPA improvements and everything in between. If you believe in the progress of Downtown Natchez, we invite you as well to consider becoming a member, because the continued success of downtown doesn't just happen by accident. It happens through people who invest in it. We are proud now to recognize our Double Helix Society members, including
if everyone will come up front when the name is called.
David and Betty Paradise, Taco Bell, American Plan and Build, the Ola Hotel, Tammy and Westpac with Absolute Charm, Susan and Paul Bean, Liz D'Antone, the Triple S Foundation, and Magnolia Bluffs Casino and Hotel. If you come forward, we'll give you your certificates. Thank you. Thank you all. We appreciate you. Scan the wrist. Yeah. One that truly connects the past, the present, and the future of downtown Natchez. It represents not just a business, but a memory, a legacy, and a commitment to honoring what came before as we continue to move forward. There are certain people in our community who understand how to tell these stories in a meaningful way. Those who take time to preserve the details, the history, and the significance of pieces in a place like this. As we are fortunate to have someone here who has given countless hours of her time, her expertise, and her passion for this event and so many others to life. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Chesney Doyle to come forward and share the story behind the special piece she salvaged at the Kimbrell Cave. Jesse?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Everyone, thanks for coming. And this award, which we're calling the Big K, it might be an annual award, but it goes to Scott and Nancy Kimball. And I'm going to read what is on the Big K. Special recognition, Nancy and Scott Kimball. For more than 50 years of dedicated business leadership in downtown, beginning in 1955 and continuing through 2012, and for the faithful stewardship of a significant downtown property, ultimately passing it forward to new ownership in 2021 with care, responsibility, and pride. So we are calling this the Big K, and the story behind the Big K is that, Scott, how many square feet is that building? 25,000 square feet in the heart of downtown Natchez. And, Scott and Nancy cared for, kept it active long after they had closed the business and Scott had retired. And eventually made a deal with Dennis and Darby. And, that is enormous. Everyone was so excited when the construction began. And I was walking down Main Street, like so many of us do, and there was the sign in the dumpster. And I said, oh, no. And I salvaged the K. I'm a dumpster diving. And so we drove for several years now about, we're going to give you the Big K, Scott. And he's up every now and then says, where's my K? Well, here it is, Scott, and thank you.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. And we still live downtown and walk around downtown and love downtown and have fun. My father started the business in 1955 over here on 425 Main Street. We were right next door to News and Novelties, for you old people that might remember that. Knocked the hole in the wall. We were next to Owens, knocked the hole in the wall, and took over the News and Novelties building. In 1980, we had the opportunity to buy the old tennis building, and so we did that. So it's gone from there. And thank you so much for love Natchez. Don't worry about that. We still love Natchez.
We also want to recognize our ARPA Balcony Awning and Façade Incentive Grant Program participants. This program was made possible through ARPA funding provided by the Mississippi Main Street Association through the Mississippi Legislature, along with matching private investment property dollars by the owners. It represents one of the most visible impacts in investments that downtown has received in years. To date, this program has supported improvements in over 20 Natchez properties and has brought over 30 awnings to our downtown streetscape. We are now nearing completion. We have the one remaining project, the shutter installation at Rebels Plaza, being fabricated now, which will wrap up later this summer. We are proud to recognize the following participants. I'll call your name, then we'll all come up, and we'll have a group photo. Darby and Dennis Short, Sharon and Mike Blackner, Bridget and Glenn Green, Jeannie and Basil Leno, Megan Perrodin Wood, Richard Learman and Sheila Duffy Learman, Connor Burns, Tom and Susan Vigil, Patrick Doherty, Stephen King, Robert White, Mamie Henry, Harold and Molly G, Sissy and Mark Blackwood, Mark and Chesney Doyle, Bubba and Katie McCabe, Judy Stallman, John Grady Burns, Taylor and Trey Cooley, Zion Chapel, AME Church, and Ann and Rick Simons. These projects represent more than just improvements to buildings. They represent the confidence, the investment, and the shared commitment in the future of downtown Natchez. This, in front of you, is what progress looks like, and we thank you. Thank you guys so much. Doesn't it look beautiful downtown though, really, with the awnings? People are commenting, and we're gonna have shade this hot summer, and we stroll the streets, it's wonderful. Our keynote speaker today is Dr. Rachael Carter of the Center for, Dr. Rachael Carter of the Center for Government and Community Development at Mississippi State University. Dr. Carter is widely respected as a strategic action planner who helps communities, industries, and organizations turn ideas into real economic progress. Her expertise spans the communities and economic development, public policy, tourism, market analysis, and retail trade. Here in Natchez, she has been a valued partner to the Downtown Natchez Alliance since 2022, conducting retail leakage studies and community surveys, and most recently facilitating our 2025 Board Strategic Planning Retreat. She is known throughout Mississippi Main Street Network as an engaging presenter and trusted resource. Today, she will be speaking on unlocking downtown business potential, which fits perfectly in our Downtown Unlocked theme today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Rachael Carter.
Thank you so much, everybody. And thank y'all also for showing up to hear me talk about math on a Saturday morning. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm gonna keep this moving for you all. When Chesney asked me about coming and speaking, I was very excited. But I also wanted to tell you all, you had a very recent study done here in Natchez by Joe Goldstrom, and I have gone through that study, and it's amazing. So I really encourage you to go to the DNA website and take a look at that study on those numbers, because they're really, really good and solid. So what I have done is I've pulled some information from that, and then I've also put my own spin on this. And then we're also going to revisit some survey data that I did for you all a few years ago, because with the town this size, the survey data is still going to be pretty valid. You may want to eventually do a new one, but it's just always good to see how that kind of ties in and aligns. So when I was looking at this, each study that you all have had done over the last few years, they're all telling very similar stories. So that kind of tells me that when people look at different things and they come up with similar answers, then you're probably on track with that. You may need some help with this. So really, I've got a lot of this in my head, but what I wanted to tell you all is that you have a really unusual market opportunity with your trade area. And when I talk about trade area, I'm talking about your potential market being people that live in your community and then people that don't live in your community. And every study that I have seen about Natchez talked, and even my study, talked about your trade area being about 24 miles out. And what that means is anybody that lives within 24 miles of Natchez is more likely to shop here. This one, sit down, but okay. Is more likely to shop here than somewhere else. Okay, I'm sorry, that's better. Okay. So what I'm meaning by the trade area is that people that live within 24 miles of Natchez are very likely to shop locally here in Natchez for the goods and services just because of your economic dynamics and your distance from other communities. So that's your trade area. That's a lot of people, 58,000 people. And I don't want that to be misleading because not everybody is shopping in Natchez, but you are positioned to actually capture that market. So what I also thought was very interesting in looking at your trade area was not only, I used a calculus to actually figure out what your trade area was, but the other people that looked at your community used cell phone data, and they said the same thing. So that really is your legitimate trade area. Other things that I wanted to show you all is just kind of taking a look at what actually exists in your smaller segments of your trade area, because what you all have is 3 separate markets. Is you have that outside the trade area, people that are living in the surrounding area that you want to try to get to shop in your local community and their dynamics. You have your in-market dynamics, which is within walking distance or within driving distance of about 5, 10, 15 minutes. And then you also have your tourists. I'm not going to get into tourists today because that's not what this is about, but that is what we see in communities your size. And with your tourism appeal is that a lot of times those tourists start contributing to spending in those businesses, or they have the potential to. But we're really going to talk about your local market today. So, and I'm going to share this information with you, Chesney, if you want to distribute it. So, in case some people can't see this. But what you have in your downtown community is within 5 miles of Natchez, you have 24 businesses that supply some type of food. And that's grocery, that's gas stations, that's anywhere that's selling something that shows up in our NAICS code as food. You have 100 restaurants, 70 healthcare facilities, 21 types of entertainment or amusement destinations. So I just wanted to kind of give you all a look at that. When you get into 10 miles, of course, that number increases, but not by a whole lot on the food and beverage. You're going to see that showing up in your leakage here in just a minute. 110 restaurants, 24 entertainment. And then something that really, I always like to say what is really jumping out at me when I look at these things, and what you all have that's a little bit bigger is that you have 135 spiritual centers within that 10 miles of where I'm standing right here. And so that was shocking to me. I think it's a great thing, but I wanted y'all to think about that when you think about revitalization, is there's a lot of capacity when you have that many spiritual centers, because usually the mission of spiritual centers is to do good things. So I wanted y'all to kind of just take a look at that, because that was the thing that really jumped out at me as different. Okay, so dining and food services within 24 miles, it gets even bigger. You have 123 restaurants, 27 food and beverage. But see, that food and beverage still didn't jump up that much more. So moving on. This is the leakage information from Joe Boltzmann's report. And so this is within your 24-mile trade area. This is people, this is dollars that are leaving your community. Supermarkets and grocery, 46 million gap. That's pretty big. Family and clothing, 13 million. Furniture stores, 9. Full-service restaurants, 6.8. And we're going to kind of dig into that a little bit more in a second. Home furnishings, 3 million. Snack and beverage, 5.8 million. Pet supplies, 1.8. Art dealers, 1.8. So as you go down, they can just kind of start at the top and go to the bottom, with supermarkets being where you're losing the most dollars. Oh, and when was the Walmart market built here? How long has that been here? Anybody know?
No, 90s.
Okay.
I mean, Super Walmart.
Yeah. The little wall, what about the little small ones? It's kind of adjacent to the downtown. Is that fairly new or not really? The little small wall? Okay. Yeah. A couple years old. Okay. So that makes sense because this data, that's probably not going to show up in that, so I will readjust that because of that. But that actually shows probably why that came here, would be my guess. So it's always interesting to see this because anytime you do an economic study, the data is going to be dated because it takes a while for the information to show up. But I love when you see a huge gap and then 2 years later you're looking at that data and you see that a business has opened up that's filling that gap, and that shows that that leakage data is very accurate. So another thing I wanted to go back to, this is a slide talking about the survey that we did here. And within the survey, we had, I think it was over 400 responses, which is huge for a survey for a community. And these are the things that people said they wanted to see in this area, and this is coming from locals. Restaurants were mentioned 90 times. I want to say, give that a caveat, is that every community I have ever surveyed, the restaurant was the number one thing that people wanted. I guess people just want different things to eat, so that happens every time I do a survey. Something else though, 87 mentions for family-friendly activities. That's something that is not always in every survey that we do, and so 87 mentions. Another thing is that 54 mentions about entertainment, so, and that kind of follows back in with family activities, so people are wanting things to do, and so give that some thought as well. So, also did part of that survey, we asked people where they were shopping for local goods and services, and so looking on this slide, you have a high local retention of groceries. 90% of people were shopping locally for groceries. Hairstylists, 82%, eye exams, 78%. But then moving on over into those that were moderately retaining were healthcare, only 62% were getting that locally, 70% dental, 48% entertainment. So those are some of the things that people were not necessarily getting here in the local area. So that means there's potential. And then significantly, people were leaving for clothing and shoes. Only 1 in 4 residents were shopping locally for clothing and shoes. So this is just kind of combining all of the different information from all of the different studies, and these are the things that are jumping out from the data that we have. Groceries, high strength for potential, meaning you're leaking a lot of dollars, meaning that there was potential for grocery location. Healthcare means you're losing a lot of people shopping for healthcare, but you also have an aging population, so that means there's potential for growth in that sector. Moderately, there's growth with restaurant development, but that leakage was only 6.8. So this is going to mean small scale if you're wanting more food and beverage sources. And then clothing is low strength. You're leaking a lot of, it's not a very strong industry here. It doesn't mean you don't have clothing stores here. It just means that you're still losing a lot of people shopping online, people going to Baton Rouge, people going to Jackson. So, using Lightcast data, which later on, if you all want me to look at something more specific with this is based on the spending that's happening in different sectors and versus the square footage, and also comparing it to the survey data, is that really small retail would be a good fit for your downtown. Large retail, a poor fit for your downtown. Services, very strong, good fit, and then restaurants, there's a lot of spending going on in the restaurant sector here in your community, and so that's a very strong business here. Okay. Additionally, this is just, again, combining a lot of the information and summarizing it, is that restaurants, there's high demand, but again, 6 million is what your leakage is, so that's based on that survey data. Restaurants has a strong feasibility because a lot of people eat out in Natchez and people enjoy the restaurants and spending as well. Grocery, moderate. Clothing, there's high demand for clothing, but the potential for it being successful is a little risky. And then personal care, moderate demand, but very strong feasibility because of what your market looks like. Okay. I love tapestry segments. Have any of you all ever used tapestry segment data or seen that before? It's when Esri uses the American Consumer Survey data and a lot of other statistics to paint a demographic picture of the local population. And I love this to the point that if a community is above average for dog ownership, I actually did this in a community and said how many people own a dog. Almost everybody in the room raised their hand. So it's really, really creepy. So just wanted to let y'all know that. But if y'all want the tapestry segment data, I can certainly email that to you guys with more detail. But what you're seeing is 26% of your population falls in the trade area, falls into the country state, 21% metro vibes. We're going to have some more slides on this. Family Foundations, 18.1, Community Connections, 18.3, Suburban Shine, 18.17, and Mature Reflections, 6.5%. So what I want to tell you all about this is I looked at this at the very granular level of within 5 minutes of this downtown, all the way out to the 24-mile trade area, and it was telling me the same thing over and over and over again. So I was just going to pull a little bit of extra information about these tapestry segments, so you all can say, okay, yeah, that probably does sound like us, or no, I don't agree with it, either way. But y'all can laugh if you think it does sound like you. So, family foundations, this was one of your big chunks of your trade area. That's older households, 40 plus, married, long established couples, and they're your stable consumer base. Moderate incomes, price conscious shopping. So those are things to think about with that. So suburban shine, that's middle income suburban households representing a mix of families, and their shopping behavior includes both national chains and local businesses. So they're a little bit flexible, but still budget conscious. Mature reflections, this was one of your smaller groups. This is like 6.5% within the 5 mile trade area. Key spending priorities include healthcare services, daytime dining options, personal services. They prefer convenience, they want accessibility, downtown fits, they want walkable retail, pharmacy services, casual daytime restaurants. One other thing I want to point out about your downtown that just kind of, it surprised me a little bit as many times I come to Natchez, is that within your really small part of your downtown, your nighttime population is about 200, but during the day it jumps up to 1,600. So I thought, okay, well that is a lot of people that are just coming in from outside the downtown to do things in this downtown area. So I say that to say that's kind of an interesting market potential with that. So you get a lot more traffic during the daytime. This is the countryscapes, and I want to just say I thought this little graphic was very cute, but I did not do it. I'm a terrible graphic designer. This is all Canva AI, and this is the first time I've used it in a presentation, so I was pretty excited. That looks so cute. But I wanted to say this is the largest demographic group in the Natchez trade area. This is 26% of the population. So look at this couple really closely. They're very practical. They're very value-driven. Their priority purchases are home maintenance, vehicles, outdoor equipment. They want things that are going to be functional rather than trendy. So that's one of your big local markets. 25-mile radius, you also have the modest income homes, and that's working class households with limited disposable income. Are y'all kind of seeing a pattern with this? That maybe it's a little bit of a price-sensitive market. People want things that are functional, good quality, but they don't want to spend a ton of money on it. They are really likely to shop in dollar stores, discount retailers, and I heard y'all are getting an Ulta, a TJ Maxx, a Bath and Body Works. This is their market. That's why. This might not necessarily be your downtown business market. It could potentially be, but you may not be able to compete on price with that. So this is really just kind of a summary. You're kind of an older, price-sensitive market with very strong family foundations. Remember the spiritual thing that jumped out. So kind of when I do these studies, if you're a potential investor, you want to open a business or you want to expand your business, I always tell people, kind of think about what does that customer you're trying to appeal to look like. And so this tapestry data to me is very valuable in helping you get a picture in your mind of, okay, which segment am I going to target, and how whatever I do, how is it going to appeal to that segment? So, this is just an overview with all the data combined, and what it's telling us, groceries, there's high market potential, which since this data was, created and started being reported, now you've got that whole small market in there, so that tells me that was right on. But healthcare, high market potential because of your aging demographic. Dining, you've got moderate potential. Clothing, a little bit lower market potential. Entertainment, low to moderate potential, because so you're going to have to say, okay, do we want to do family activities, or are we going to focus on trying to capture tourists, which could be anybody. So I really didn't dig into y'all's tourism numbers, but I'm sure you can get that information from Mississippi. So downtown, y'all are really not a fix for a big box, and y'all can leave that out there on the, the major highways. Y'all are doing well with that, with the new TJ Maxx, everything coming in. Your strategy needs to be experience, convenience, authenticity, quality goods, thinking about that price-sensitive market. So local character, walkability, those kind of things that you're wanting to fill in this downtown. High priority, these are just different places. These are gaps that we're seeing, based on all the different data studies. High priority, small grocery, pharmacy, wellness studio, yoga, Pilates, those kind of things. I don't know that y'all have one of those. Y'all have like that downtown? You do? Okay.
We do.
There's potential for those growth in those sectors. Medium priority is hardware, local home repair, laundry, and then also you have the potential for some boutique opportunity. There's leakage there, but really you would probably want to think about if you were going that route, tourists to support it. If you were looking at that 6.8 restaurant strategy, casual dining, family restaurant, lunch cafes kind of fits your demographic. Modern opportunity, upscale dining and niche cuisine, because you do have a lot of what I would consider Mississippi, upscale dining, so. All right, key findings, your population of your trade area is 58,000 people, and the demographic is older, value-oriented. Demand is high for family dining and for family activities, and restaurants is your top performing sector when you look at square footage spending with the White Cast data, with the dollars per square foot. So retail gaps in grocery and clothing and furniture. How much time have I got? Am I on track? Because I was just saying, some of these slides repeat each other just to kind of re-emphasize the point. In a downtown like this, you want to think about that second bullet, that small format retail, and this is really basing on the sales per square footage for your community. And if you thought about dining enhancement, you want to kind of combine that with visitor experience. And then think about pop-ups. Those are low risk, and we see those a lot in communities when they're trying to say, okay, well, what's going to be a good, strong fit is having somebody who's maybe got a business that maybe they're online, or maybe they're in a community that's not your community, and inviting that retailer to, hey, why don't you come set up for a month and see how it goes. I see Jeremy nodding. You've seen that work, haven't you? Okay. Okay. This just kind of repeats what I just said, and that is the end. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, and then we can dig deeper into the data if you'd like me to this afternoon, or if anybody has questions, you're more than welcome to email me. So that is all I have. Does anybody have questions?
Yeah, again, the 58,000 people, the respondents, or the people that were in the radius?
Okay, the 58,000, that is the people that live within 24 miles of Natchez, and that's your trade area. And that's where you get into those countryscapes, some of that older population out in that area. But those are people that could shop in Natchez and would be very likely to do so, but they're not necessarily doing it. Anybody else? Yes.
Your highest percentage of grocery leakage, it looked like 90% of people buy groceries here.
Yes.
We have the highest leakage in groceries.
Yeah, and that's where the survey sample was 400, but the trade area population's 58,000, so we only got 400. It's a great survey when you think about survey sample size and people that are likely to fill out a survey and people that possibly saw the survey. So people that were in that, and also one thing I want to point out about that is that the way we did that survey is it was pushed out through social media. So anybody that filled it out had to have some connection to looking at the city Facebook page, or looking at the downtown Natchez social media or on the email list. So you're going to have those type of folks who are more likely to shop there. Anybody else?
So I've been thinking about, and I would never open this, but I will open this floor to y'all if you want to. But I keep thinking about like one of those little shops that you kind of like a candy store. You pop in, you get Cokes, and you get little candies, and just kind of, not a corner store, but a nice little eclectic shop where you have these specialized candies, caramels, whatever you could think of along the strip. There is some, I was wondering if there was something in the study surrounding something of that nature.
It fits within small scale restaurant type, but it also would fit in with people wanting some type of different type of food, but then people are also wanting some type of entertainment. And in Mississippi, we eat for fun. So, that kind of fits into that. So, yes, so that's good. I love it when kind of like the demand really starts matching up with businesses that go through.
Well, and another one I'm hearing is looking for a place to renovize, for children to come in and have like a grocery little vignette where you learn about buying groceries in a bank and,
Oh, that's cute.
with children's little
That's really
activities. So there's one in North Mississippi she's retiring, so she's willing to sell all the stuff to her, so I hope that.
Wow.
Wow, that's great.
Okay, something like that, right, that one will stay.
Okay, well, as long as it matches, it's good.
Yes, hi. Thank you for all this data. I think I was taking notes and I didn't get enough. But I believe this will be posted on the Downtown Natchez Alliance website. We can also spread that message because I think it does take a little bit of digesting. This study that was originally done 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Jesse? 3 years ago, has been updated. However, I think everybody here in the room knows that a lot has happened in the last 12, 16 to 18 months. A lot. We've seen new businesses, we have announcements of new businesses. We not only have businesses that have opened, but businesses that have opened with programming activity. And by that, I'm going to suggest the Dixon Bookstore, for example. So that's not just a retail outlet, that is a social hub and an activity hub downtown that illustrates what businesses today also can become by providing a retail opportunity and then an entertainment and lifestyle opportunity. And when you think about downtown and you think about what were the tapestry targets? So there's not something like that occurs for that large cohort that's the country traditional. So that you start to think about how some of these puzzle pieces fit together. However, I'm going to suggest that it's time to really update the foundational numbers of this study. And this study was created with push and drive from Downtown Natchez Alliance and the city of Natchez and Mississippi Main Street. So I'm talking about something I don't know all the details. So I am an advocate for asking you to lobby your local representatives, lobby our Main Street team members here, to have this study updated. And wouldn't that be a fabulous tool to have next year in the spring? So now,
What is the date on this study now?
So this one is, what I presented to you is stacked studies, and I believe mine was 2022, 2023 when I was gathering data. And then Joe came in, I believe he was looking at 2023, 2024 data. And so if y'all have had a lot of businesses open since then probably getting just a snapshot from Claritas or something like that would, just to see. It takes a year or two for that kind of information to show up in studies. If you want to look at your community from it doesn't tell you what I wish it told you, because they're using DOR data, and Department of Revenue does not break it down by NAICS codes like this type of data does. But the Extension Service posts like the bigger picture county leakage on their website, on our website. But it's a different department than me, but I know the methodology they're using for that. But yes, doing something like that. But because it takes a little bit of time. If y'all have had a lot of businesses open, and it looks like you have just from driving in.
So it can't be more than 1 to 2 years.
It'll take a couple of years, because everything at Department of Revenue is behind a few months, and then that has to go to the bigger databases, data centers. The quickest thing you get when you look at data is when you get that the cell phone ping data. I don't know, that seems to be the quickest data, but it doesn't tell you necessarily the spending profile. I know that sometimes there's one data set that does kind of give you a little bit more information on spending profiles. It's super, super expensive. That place our AI data, if I can get somebody to give me a favor, yes, I can get access to it, but it just depends on when I can make that happen. So, because it's super, super expensive, but some universities around the country have it, but it just depends on the situation. Some economic development offices here in Mississippi have it, but it is very expensive. But that doesn't necessarily, usually that kind of data, I like to combine it with an additional survey to see if it's telling the same story, just to. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, thank y'all for your time.
Thank you so much. I'm a numbers nerd, and I love data and stats and all things mathematical. So thank you for sharing that and your insights with that as well. Before we move into the next part of our day, I want to take a moment to recognize someone who has put in countless hours behind the scenes to make today possible. Ms. Liz D'Antone has been instrumental in planning, coordinating, and bringing all the moving pieces of this event together, from the exhibitors to the logistics to the overall experience that you'll get to have today. We're grateful for your leadership and grateful for you, Liz. Thank you. Truly, this event represents a team effort across all of our board, our partners, our community. It takes all of us working together to make something like this happen. I would like to also recognize the Downtown Natchez Alliance Board of Directors. This does not happen without a dedicated group of volunteers who give their time, their leadership, and their heart to the continued success of Downtown Natchez. I want to recognize TJ Backett, Lori Alice, Cassie Dollar, Norma West, Tim Blaylock, Connor Burns, Liz D'Antone, Leon Hollins, Sheila Duffy Learman, and Chesney Doyle. Thank you for your leadership. I also want to recognize Lila Winfield, who is here from Mississippi Main Street. We're thankful for your presence and so very thankful for your support. Thank you. Thank you all for your leadership and for your commitment to Downtown Natchez. So let's talk about what happens next, shall we? If you have not already registered, there's a really big QR code right there behind Sheila Duffy Learman's head, and Bean, who is our resident security for the event today. I did want to recognize Bean, one of our aldermen in town. Be sure that you pick up your downtown bingo card, just grab it off the table, and take part. Now do the registration and do the bingo, because there's multiple chances to win in the drawing. This is going to be time to explore, to connect, and to engage throughout the day. And yes, there are some really, really good prizes involved. Our Possibilities Tour will begin shortly following this session. You'll have the opportunity to choose from 2 guided tours or to explore at your own pace using the materials provided. These here. This is your chance to step inside these spaces, ask questions, and to really start envisioning what's available for Downtown Natchez. There are restrooms here in this building, and there will be restroom spots and stops along the way. For those of us who may have some mobility issues and can't do all of the walking, we have a golf cart provided by Levi and Grace Construction and other alternates to help you get from place to place. We don't want anybody to miss it. We will break for lunch, and then we ask everyone to return right here on or at or before 1:30 this afternoon. And when you come back, that's when we're going to shift into another important part of the day. Do a little rewind here. So I wanted to tell you about these possibility tours. There are 2 guided possibility tours. One of them is the Historic Downtown Tour by Carter Burns. And thank you so much for leading us with that. I'm super excited, and I want to take all kinds of notes. The other one is, it's so hard to decide too, because we have our Economic Opportunity Tour with Dr. Rachael Carter, where we're going to walk through. Liz D'Antone and several of us will be strolling along on these possibility tours as well. And if you'd like to do more of a self-guided tour, the map is here, and all of the locations are open. There's someone on site, there's the materials there, and we welcome you inside any of these properties. If you have time after the guided tour and you want to return to a property, they will be open until 1:30. Correct, Liz? Got it. Thank you. All right. In the afternoon, we're going to have our Ask the Expert sessions right back here, where you can come back and connect one-on-one with the vast resources that we have in this room. I want you to be able to talk with them about an idea and then be able to know what to do to take that to the next step. Those conversations are where ideas truly begin to turn into action. We'll consider continued networking, visiting the exhibitors, and building connections throughout the afternoon. Now, a quick note on the door prizes, because I was just overwhelmed with your response, and many of these came from you right here in this room. And when it went out in our Facebook Messenger system and people started answering back different things they were donating, I was just like, oh my goodness. And if you're not in the Facebook group, you need to get in it. We'll get you in that too. Let me tell you a few of what's going on here. Wyatt Waters Gallery, a $550 value of a day of watercoloring workshop with Wyatt Waters. Dixon's Book and Law, $500 for one night, or worth one night vacation at Dixon Laws. Magnolia Art Studio Pottery Party, a $350 value. Bring your girls, bring a bottle of wine, we got that in the door prize too, and have fun with the art. Lower Lodge Antiques, 2 nights vacation at either the Law or the Natchez Gold, subject to availability of course, worth $350. Wyatt Waters again, a choice of print valued at $270. There are 4 bottles of wine back there from Yellow Car Country Wine. Listen to that name, they're going to hear it again. Silver Street Gallery and Gifts, if you saw it, I love that one, the Natchez print by Landon Theobald. Outside an Escape Room, gift certificates from Nez, Darby's Fudge, Triple Surprise from One of a Kind, a $45 value. Jason Dolphin, a gift from Nest, your surprise. Biscuits and Blues, Planet Tie, and Slick Ricks all have gift cards. Truth Lounge, A Gallery, Bordeaux and Company, Frankie's on Main, Little Green Fort, Morton Flowers and Gibbs, Mother's Natchez Coffee, Taco Bell, and the Paradise Companies all have gift cards ready for you when you register in bingo and for the drawing this afternoon. So be sure to submit your entries. It's all digital. Thank you, Michael, our tech extraordinaire. And he will spin the wheel of names. Your submissions have to be in by 2 o'clock. He'll do all the tech background for it. We'll gather back up here at 1:30, and at 3 o'clock, we'll announce the door prizes. You do have to be present to win. We're so glad you're here. Take your time today, ask questions, make connections, step inside these spaces, and start to imagine what could be next. Because downtown Natchez is not just something we preserve. It's something that we all are going to continue to build together. It's something that you are get to explore today and go see all of the many, many possibilities in downtown Natchez. Thank you.
I do want to make one more comment about the bingo game. So this is really fun. There are fun things on here like see somebody ride a bike, see somebody walk a dog, chat with a tourist, see a carriage ride, read the Natchez Trails exhibit panel. But for everyone who's already here, you've already bingoed with the first row. If you take one of the possibilities course. You don't have to take the whole course. But if you do that, then you will have bingo, and for every line that you bingo, you get another entry into our wonderful door prize drawing. So the way you enter your bingos is you go to that QR code on the card, and you just enter your name. And so you can get 5 more bingos, 5 more entries into the door prize with this game. And if you have friends who might want to enter the door prize, just tell them to swing by here and grab a card. They don't have to be here now. and you'll have to attend the event. But this is a fun activity that we'll be doing till 2 o'clock. And thank you all, and thank you, Elizabeth. Yes.
Okay, I'm loving that.
Everybody, if you take the tour with Carter Burns, you're going to get the history angle. And if you take the tour with Dr. Carter, she will be soliciting your input on what you envision for the building. So I hope we can do that. A couple of comments about the tours. If you take the tour with Dr. Carter, that's the economic tour, she'll be soliciting your input on what kind of business you'd like to see in the building. And if you take the tour with Carter Burns, you'll get the history angle.
That's all I need. So I can print it off and give it to
Okay, is that better for you if I email it?
Actually, it's much better.
Okay, that's,
So make sure.
well, I mean, I have to do whatever.
No, I think besides, obviously any way of screening that is being, favorite. So just, but also, something that you want
Because I want everybody to do it.
Yeah,